Apple's soaring stock price over the past 2 decades has been driven by its iconic consumer devices. It started with the iPod and iMac. Then came the iPhone and iPad. And more recently, the Apple Watch and AirPods. But there's a lot more to the biggest U.S. company by market cap than just gadgets. At its Silicon Valley headquarters, in a nondescript room filled with a couple hundred buzzing machines and a handful of engineers in lab coats, Apple is designing the custom chips that power its most popular products. Apple first debuted homegrown semiconductors in the iPhone 4 in 2010. As of this year, all new Mac computers are powered by Apple's own silicon, ending the company's 15-plus years of reliance on Intel. One of the most, if not the most, profound change at Apple, certainly in our products over the last 20 years, is how we now do so many of those technologies in-house, said John Ternus, who runs hardware engineering at Apple. And top of the list, of course, is our silicon. That change has also opened Apple up to a new set of risks. Its most advanced silicon is primarily manufactured by one vendor, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. Meanwhile, smartphones are recovering from a deep sales slump, and competitors like Microsoft are making big leaps in artificial intelligence. In November, CNBC visited Apple's campus in Cupertino, California, the first journalists allowed to film inside one of the company's chip labs. We got a rare chance to talk with the head of Apple Silicon, Joni Shruji, about the company's push into the complex business of custom semiconductor development, which is also being pursued by Amazon, Google, Microsoft and Tesla. We have thousands of engineers, Shruji said. But if you look at the portfolio of chips we do, very lean, actually. Very efficient. Unlike traditional chip makers, Apple is not making silicon for other companies. Because we're not really selling chips outside, we focus on the product, Shruji said. That gives us freedom to optimize, and the scalable architecture lets us reuse pieces between different products. Shruji came to Apple in 2008 to lead a small team of 40 or 50 engineers designing custom chips for the iPhone. A month after he joined, Apple bought PA Semiconductor, a 150-person startup, for $278 million. They're going to start doing their own chips. That was the immediate takeaway when they bought PA Semi, said Ben Bajarin, CEO and principal analyst at Creative Strategies. With its inherent design focus, Bajarin said, Apple wants to control as much of the stack as possible. 2 years after the acquisition, Apple launched its first custom chip, the A4, in the iPhone 4 and original iPad. We built what we call the unified memory architecture that is scalable across products, Shruji said. We built an architecture that you start with the iPhone, but then we scaled it to the iPad and then to the Watch and eventually to the Mac.